Just amazing stuff. Anthony Fauci, you may recall, you remember Anthony Fauci a while back saying that we will never shake hands again. We'll never shake hands again. None of us. It's not like just like me and Anthony Fauci, but, all of America, the whole world will never shake hands again because of the Wuhan Red Death out of the Wuhan Institute of Virology, and which got funding from Tony Fauci's offices, and pay no attention to that. He said, never shake hands again, and when we come back from the Wuhan, we'll come back real slow, like we're just waking up from a drunken stupor, and we'll never shake hands again, he said. And you remember Joe Biden warning us in 2021 of the winter of severe illness and death for the unvaccinated. And now they're ending the requirement that in order to fly into the country, you've got to be vaccinated. So I guess that's all over with. They arrested the illegal alien in Texas. Amazing story. I thought he'd be long gone in Mexico. He's not only a mass murderer, he's a moron. But he was arrested, found him under a pile of laundry in a closet. He came out dressed like a woman. It was so now the Democrats going to set up a legal defense fund. He didn't really come up trade, but he was hiding under a pile of laundry in a closet. Just saying. So we got that. At the White House briefing yesterday, talk of 90% reduction in illegal aliens coming into the country. That was a giant lie, of course. And a wonderful story out of San Diego County, a restaurant that plays the national anthem every day at noon, and liberals soiled themselves about this. They've never been so frightened in their lives. Yeah, great story out of San Diego County at the restaurant there playing the national anthem and causing Democrats to panic and plots and soil, the usual stuff. Let's go to the telephones, Michael, at 888-630-9625. Let's go to John calling from Silver Spring, Maryland. John, you're on the Chris Plante Show.
Hey, Chris.
Hey, John.
How you doing today in the global cooling Washington day?
It is. There was climate change today, isn't there? It was warmer yesterday. It's colder and rainier today, and I scored that as climate change.
Exactly. Hey, I just wanted to thank you for planting a little earbug of a song this morning. My dad's favorite music, Marty Robbins, down in the West Texas, town of El Paso. Awesome.
I fell in love with a Mexican girl.
That's right. And anyway, I'm going to sing it all day now, so thank you for that.
Sure.
But I also wanted to let you know about the absolutely fascist Washington Post comment section. It is hilarious. So I stole a phrase from you. Sorry.
Quite all right. Happens all the time.
I love it where they banned me permanently for saying that men make the best women. And I had to query them. You have to email comments at WashingtonPost.com. And they actually told me why they banned me. And they banned me because of, frankly, because of you, Chris.
Well, thank you. I don't want to take credit where it's not due, but I appreciate you crediting me with this.
Well, I stole the phrase from you, but I did agree with it the second I heard it.
Well, it's of course true, and the Democrats in the Washington Post, among the Democrats, have made this the case. You know, the best women golfer is a man, the best women track stars are men, the best woman swimmer is a man, the best woman weightlifter is a man. With the best poker player, there was a women's poker tournament the other day, and a man entered because he couldn't be excluded because of the law in the state, and he mopped the floor with all the women playing poker. So now the best woman, the women's championship poker player is a man. And this is what the Democrats have done by erasing women, right, John?
Yes, indeed. I'm sorry, but they're going to ruin women's sports, I'm telling you. This is the truth right there.
Not just women's sports, but women and girls, and in school where boys will be girls and girls will be boys. It's a mixed up world. It's a mixed up political party. They're Democrats. Their theme song is Lola, the Democrat Party's theme song. At their convention, instead of rioting, they should just play Lola.
This is the Chris Plante Show.
Florida man wins women's poker tournament. Florida man wins women's poker tournament. It's poker. It's, yeah, sure. There it is. It's in the back of a liquor store, and they've got a Florida man wins women's poker tournament, sparks debate over male inclusion. It's not boxing. It's poker, for crying out loud. It's making international news. Even overseas in Europe, they're covering the story because it's such a big deal. And you know how those Europeans are. The Washington Examiner probably has the best headline: bearded man wins women's poker tournament in Florida. Now, what's wrong with that? Did you see the arrivals at the Met Gala? Is it Gala or Gala? That is in New York, night before last. A friend of mine, yeah, it's Gala. A friend of mine in Florida was texting me, turn to E right now, the E channel. And I'm like, I don't even know where E is. And eventually I found it. And there was, I mentioned it yesterday, like a 6'4" man with a full beard, looks like he could be Dinty Moore, you know, in a can of, what do they make? Beef stew or something. And he looked like he'd be Dinty Moore, but he's dressed like Archduke Anastasia with, I guess, a ball gown or a prom gown or something like that. And he's got a, you know, hairy shoulders and a hairy chest and a full beard. And we're supposed to take him seriously. He's one of the people. And then, what's his name? Jared Leto. Is it Leto or Leto? Yeah. And he showed up dressed like a cartoon character from something like, and he's got a full beard and dressed like a ridiculous woman. No woman would actually dress like that. You know, all of this is a mockery of femininity, of feminism, of women. And as my best girl, I think she originated the phrase, they're erasing women. They're erasing women from the public square, from business. And again, the arrivals, they had this, you know, where's Joan Rivers when you need her? Remember, she made fun of Barack and Michelle Obama and said, everybody knows Michelle Obama's a tranny. And about 2 weeks later, she was killed on the operating table, Joan Rivers, because, you know, they don't like funny. They don't, I'm not saying there's a causal connection there. Just a coincidence, just a coincidence. And they found her body rolled up in a rug in Fort Mercy Park, next to Vince Foster. But that's another story. So they had this, a man dressed as a woman. I guess you'd call that person transgender because that's all it takes, right? And now, the Washington Examiner, bearded man wins women's poker tournament in Florida. So you got a man who's the best female college swimmer. There was a man who won the Australian women's golf tournament about a month ago. Biological man, you got to say biological, otherwise you're a bigot. But if you say biological, you're a scientist. Okay? So it goes. And track and field, of course, the dudes who look like they could be playing wide receiver and tight end for the San Francisco 49ers. and they were beating the high school girls in Connecticut, right? In Connecticut in the track and field stuff. And the man who competed as a woman in the weightlifting contest, you'll be surprised to learn that he won quite handily. And now bearded man wins women's poker tournament in Florida. Luke Gentile wrote the story at the Washington Examiner. I hope that's not a slur. Is that a slur? Then as long as you're not talking about George Soros, I think that's okay. So a bearded man is going viral after taking first place in a women's poker tournament Saturday in Florida. In Deltona, Florida, a native of the town, David Hughes, entered the $250 buy-in, quote,
to the end of the
Ladies No Limit Hold'em event at the Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino, and he won. Can we say he? Because he entered a women's tournament, and isn't that enough? According to various reports, the event, which had 83 entries, so David and 82 women, and somehow, the best women poker players are men. Well, as part of the casino's Seminole Hard Rock Poker Showdown, and Hughes walked away with $5,555 in winnings, which he stole from the ladies. Hughes is described as a 70-year-old bearded man. 70-year-old bearded man. He was allowed to compete under anti-discrimination rules, which Florida state casinos must allow men to enter women's events. Well, then they're not women's events, are they? That kind of defeats the whole purpose. Man, they call him Flipper. When he made it to the final table, the final round, Hughes' presence appeared to rattle some of the ladies. Some of the ladies were rattled. Playing in the ladies' event today, and Dave is here as the only man. The only man. While we appreciate the dead money, isn't all money dead? I really wish men would get what these events stand for. Well, sure, isn't that true of everything? No, it's not, of course. It's not. Because the Democrat Party did this. You know whose fault it is that Dave, the 70-year-old bearded man, entered this event? The entire Democrat Party. And Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Now let's go to the audio, because this is great stuff. In Indiana, it's a state in the Midwest. Indiana councilman who came out as Native American lesbian. He was born male, assigned at birth as male. He's a Republican councilman in Delaware County, Indiana, and he announced the other day that he is now identifying as a Native American Indian woman lesbian. That's a threefer. That's a hat trick. You'd think the MSNBC would want to give him a show, but no. This is making news overseas too. White Indiana politician sparks outrage. They're always outraged, aren't they? They're always outraged about everything. They do this to everyone, and then they're outraged when you call them out and play their game.